When you talk about hitters and you talk about specific things to hitters, there's a couple things that you try and teach guys. It's one is pitch recognition, swinging at the right pitches, and one is plate discipline. And I think Pete Alonso last year, as you talked about, struggled in that. He was swinging a lot of pitches, and you've said in this article how much he's improved. Can you expand on that a little bit, and please let the audience know, if they haven't already, how good this guy has been this year so far?
Well, what strikes me about Alonso is what struck a lot of people about Alonso this season, just how much he has improved the plate discipline. And that was the subject of that story. And what I set out to do was find out why. Like, what has he done? Does his batting eye just get that much better from one season to the next? That seemed improbable to me. And he explained, and Eric Chavez, the Mets hitting coach, explained as well, that what really happened is he got his body under control. He's staying back now. He is more efficient in his movement. He is just better positioned to see the ball. And that enables him to have better control of the strike zone, to dominate the strike zone. And when you're swinging the better pitches to hit, I don't need to tell either of you guys, obviously you're going to have a better chance of doing some damage. That is what's happened. Now, he slumped a little bit of late going into the Subway Series tonight, but overall, strikeout percentage is way down. Walk percentage is way up. He was, at the time I wrote the article, in the top 15 in changes in both those categories. And it's really been cool to see how he dedicated himself in the offseason to getting better with this. He was not happy last season. He described his swing as out of control. Well, he fixed it. And he fixed his mind by fixing his body first, and not talking about getting in shape, just what the way he moved in the box, and that's what changed everything.
Wait, so he was out of control in a free agent year trying to do more? Whoa, that
Shocking.
is shocking. And people say, oh, there's no free agency curse. There's no free, like, some guys don't handle it. And I'm not saying Pete can't handle it and he can become a free agent again, but there is that level of, you hit it on the head. You just wrote it in a different way than a baseball player would say, I'm just trying to do everything. I'm trying to hit my 6 home runs tonight in one swing, and that gets your body out of control. So a calm, cool, collected polar bear probably is more under control.
Right, Eric. And you make the point about the free agent year, and it's a valid one. Guys do sometimes get out of themselves in a free agent year. And then we've seen other guys perform like never before in their free agent years, too. Soto, I wouldn't call him that or say that about him, but he had a great free agent year. Alonso, maybe he did get away from himself because of that, or maybe that contributed to it. But as you mentioned, Eric, this is a free agent year too, and he seemingly has everything under control.
Hey, what do you think about the Juan Soto factor for the lineup for the Mets, right? I mean, this is a guy who obviously is going to infuse, what he does to a lineup, which is, of course, get on base, clutch hits, some swag, right? He's there. So how much of a factor do you think that's been for Pete, just to have another superstar there on board? Not like they don't have already. I mean, I know Lindor was an MVP candidate last year, but I mean, this lineup's really good looking on paper, and we're seeing that play out for a first place team.
Certainly, the first 3 hitters in that lineup, that's a factor. It's a force. And we're talking about Lindor, Soto, Alonso. And when you ask statistical analysts about lineup protection, they say it's more in front of you than behind you. Alonso certainly has that this year. Lindor got off to a much better start than usual. Soto, not on fire, but still getting on base. So I'm sure that helps, but it seems to me, Scott, in this particular case, it's more Alonso doing what he needed to do to improve himself in the box. That, to me, seems to be the overriding thing, because if he was the same hitter he was last year, even with perhaps greater opportunities or more fastballs, whatever the case might be, I don't know that he'd be performing like this.
Sometimes we get the asks for lightweight hoodies, and I'm like, they exist. They're awesome at Rowback.
Without a doubt. Comfort, lightweight, durability. I wear these all the time. The color schemes are absolutely phenomenal.
Go check it out. You can use the code FOUL on rowback.com for 20% off your first purchase. That's FOUL on RHOBACK.com. 20% off all shorts, hoodies, polos, and more. Go check out Rowback.
My last one, and it relates to this still, is, of course, the Subway Series going down. And Juan Soto seems to be public enemy number one in Yankee fan brains right now. For me, I mean, being in New York City about half the year, I hear his name all the time from Yanks fans. I hate him. I can't stand him. To me, I've kind of hit my point, Ken. So I'm wondering where you're at with this, because when we do reflect on the offseason that we had, talking to you about the chase, the Mets paid more money for Juan Soto, period. And everyone, including you, always said he is going to follow the money. Also, this isn't Derek Jeter. He was on the team for 1 year and brought them to the World Series. So is this kind of silly? Because when we see the reaction, we know it's going to be wild. It's going to be like this guy is a criminal, and all he did was bring them some success for a year and then got paid by someone else for it.
Well, I know the default emotion for a lot of fans is anger. And certainly, if I were a Yankee fan and I was raised to boo, which I wasn't, I was raised not to boo. But if I were a Yankee fan in that particular mindset, I'd be booing him tonight. I'd be booing him just for the heck of it. Why not? But if you look at the reality, Scott, first of all, what you said is right. I know it's only $5 million in total value, but there was a year difference in that too. So the Yankee AAV was lower, whatever. Factor in that. And if you're a Yankee fan, you're also perhaps thinking, you know what? Our team with that contract, maybe we wouldn't be better off. And that is a fair question to ask. You look at the Yankees, their offense has been great without Soto. The way they restructured it with Goldschmidt and much lesser extent Bellinger, with Grisham emerging or reemerging now as a real force, with the younger players coming on, Ben Rice foremost among them, they're fine without Soto. So I'm sure he'll get booed. He might even thrive on getting booed. That seems to be the way Juan goes about it. But I don't know that fans should be so much in a lather. But I can't really say one way or the other. Can't really give an opinion because I'm not a fan like that. I'm a fan of the game. Obviously, I cover the sport. But I don't have an allegiance to one team. And if I did, perhaps then I wouldn't even try to be rational about it.
Yeah, and that's why fan is short for fanatic. And you failed to mention some of that money went into Max Fried, who then filled in for Garrett Cole, who's been hurt. But quick question here at the end for you. You're not really at a rivalry game. The Braves-Red Sox is not really rivalry. Some of the teams don't have that like rivalry like we have for other teams. What's your favorite one to cover over the years of all the rivalries, true rivalries?
Well, the Braves played in Boston at one point, so that's where we're getting that from. I'm with you, Eric. Well, I grew up in New York. Actually, I'm from Long Island. So when I was a kid, and I'm pretty old, I know, there was no interleague play. And in New York, we had something called the Mayor's Trophy game. And that was an exhibition game that took place during the season every year, and the Mets and Yankees would play. I grew up a Mets fan, and before anybody gets carried away, you lose that the moment you start the job, pretty much. But when they would play the Yankees, it was so exciting. And that, to me, has always stood out. Mets-Yankees, it's for ownership of the city. It's kind of like, and I wish AJ was on for this matter alone, Cubs-White Sox is a big thing, too. Same way. Dodgers-Angels, no. Giants-A's, when it was going, no. But this one, you grew up a Mets fan, then you don't like the Yankees. You grew up a Yankee fan, then you have contempt for the Mets. And I always thought that was a really cool thing, a cool rivalry. And when they played in the World Series in 2000, that was the peak of this. So that one is my favorite for personal reasons because I grew up there. Obviously, if I grew up somewhere else, maybe I'd feel differently.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.